Exactly as predicted on this YouTube channel, Bitcoin has continued its rally up and we have blown even completely through the $28,000, $27,000 levels. We've actually managed to set a high at 28.1 right here, and I want to cover with you where we might end up going. Are we going to be pulling back, or is this just going to keep steamrolling through all of our resistance areas? And the first thing to mention is that we saw this coming from miles away. Literally, when the market was all the way at the top over here, if you've been watching this channel, you've been subscribed consistently, watching us here, you're going to know I was saying, look, 25K is a very real possibility, but it is a phenomenally strong area of support, and we would expect a strong reaction off it, but we've got a lot of resistance right here. I was warning you guys that if we break it, the next areas of resistance we're going to face are here and here and here. And right now, we've broken the next area of resistance as well. So let's zoom in and really understand what's happening on the chart here so that we can kind of understand where the price might be going. If we look at this on the hourly time frame, one of the strongest things that Bitcoin has been able to produce is a retest of the 26.7K area. We knew that this was an important area of resistance, and historically, just over these last weeks, it has been very important. We've seen a lot of crucial support hits, a lot of crucial resistance hits, definitely an important level of the market. And so as soon as Bitcoin was able to get above it, we ended up capturing some support here and skyrocketing higher, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm still in my long position, as you guys know very, very well. I opened this long position way back at 21.5K, and this position continues to make me money. I've already made over $100,000, and I've sat in over 200K in total on this position. Absolutely phenomenal performance. If you're looking for a place to trade, the links in the description down below will give you over $100,000 in bonuses. BingX does not require KYC, no pictures of yourself or your ID. And Bybit gives you up to $30,000 of free trading capital. So any profits you generate with that money are yours to keep. More on them later on, but check them out. Pause the video if you are interested. The fact that we got this support bounce here is a big deal. It is a strong indication that this market is not coming back down to lows. And that is super, super evident by the fact that we also blew straight through this area of resistance at 27.4. This was actually a really important area of resistance. If we look at the kind of hits that we had at this area, and then the fact that we were only able to break out on our fourth attempt of this resistance area right here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what ends up breaking this resistance area. It shows us that, and even afterwards, we continue to get rejected there a few more times, even right here. It shows us that this is definitely a critically important level for the chart. And again, just the fact that we've been able to blow through it is a big step forward. And mind you, this is also happening against the backdrop of still a very bullish indices market. The S&P 500 is about to close. You're going to see the result of this when you watch my YouTube video here, and we're still doing okay. Yes, we are pulling back a little bit, but after what kind of rally, right? And again, this rally we were covering all the time on this YouTube channel because the health of the indices market very directly plays into the health of the crypto market, and we know that very well. We know why that is. It is because if traditional finance, if the S&P 500, if the kind of stocks that you can trade on BingX without KYC, just a Bitcoin deposit, if these markets are performing well, if indices are performing well, if commodities are performing well, that's going to mean that people who are investing in these markets are going to feel confident. They're going to feel happy. They're going to feel greedy. And what happens when you feel greedy? What happens when you start making money? You start feeling greedy and you start looking for more risk. You start going into riskier markets. We were covering this constantly before the move actually happened, and it is one of the key reasons for why I was so bullish for so long, especially even though everyone else thought that I was an idiot when Bitcoin was down at $25,000, because we need to understand this to understand where Bitcoin might go next. If traditional finance has seen an incredibly strong rally across the board over these last weeks and Bitcoin has been lagging behind, that only tells us that the risk on attitude, that the being open to risk, that this has just reached crypto now, right? Because first we need to make money in traditional finance, right? First, these traditional finance markets, these indices need to start going up. NASDAQ, S&P 500, they need to start showing some strength. When they show strength, and only afterwards, that's when people are looking to take on additional risk. So it's no surprise. These indices have seen a huge move up for quite some time here, basically uninterrupted since like May. And yeah, Bitcoin has taken its time, but it is finally waking up. We've broken out of this resistance level, and this actually has some really strong implications for where we could be going next. If we take a look at this chart right here, I've got the very same falling wedge pattern that I've been talking to you guys pretty much exclusively about on this YouTube channel And this does give us a 15% pump to the upside as a potential target. So if we extrapolate that from our current breakout point, that does give us a speculative target of $30,500. And what was I talking to you guys about just in my latest video just 12 hours ago? I was telling you guys that if we do get this move up here, all it's going to take is a little bit of a breakout to trigger a lot of FOMO. If I had the willpower to edit this video, I would throw that clip on here right now, but you don't need me to do that. You can just go back and watch the previous video to check that out, because that analysis was absolutely spot on. I was talking to you guys about if we do get this breakout here, it could come very, very quickly, trigger a lot of FOMO, and these resistance levels just aren't going to be a problem for Bitcoin if that's the case, because the key level that we need to be focusing on is going to be up here. So it is beautiful to see that just with this very, typically quite reliable way of extrapolating targets, that we are looking at a similar price level right here. So absolutely beautiful. I mean, the start of the week, Monday, was a nice candle here. Tuesday, absolutely phenomenal. This weekly candle right now is actually looking really healthy, guys, in my opinion. If we just kind of zoom in and digest what this chart is showing us, oh, that is a bit too far to zoom in. We have a very, very clear breakout now on this weekly time frame here. If we just kind of draw a line connecting these candle bodies, super, super clear, guys. We have gotten that breakout. On the daily time frame, it's even more obvious. This is it. We have done it. We have broken out of this short-term downtrend that we've been in, and we're doing this within the kind of context of a very, very nice uptrend. Yes, we've had a pullback here. Yes, we've had a pullback here, and these pullbacks are exactly what lead to these extremely large rises, right? We had a big, big pullback here from basically $69,000, but more specifically just from here at 25K, we had this really nice big pullback, and that is exactly what led to this really, really nice big ascension up, another big pullback, big ascension up, another big pullback. Are we looking at something similar? Well, let's keep on breaking this picture down. Again, beautiful retest here off that previous area of resistance, now flipping into support. And if we take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame, we're just blazing through these resistance levels, and we've also started to develop support. This is where things get really exciting, right? When we're trending up, the good thing is, especially on these shorter time frames, we're going to start flipping these signs, and we're going to start turning bearish things into bullish things. And so what we've got now starting to develop under our feet as we speak right now, ladies and gents, are some phenomenal signs of support. The first thing I want to outline to you guys, I was hammering on about the Ichimoku cloud and the bottom red line here, and this has very, very clearly, conclusively given us a bounce up. Now, the final thing we need to do to confirm this Ichimoku cloud is actually break out above this green line, but that almost looks like a certainty at this stage. Obviously, it may or may not happen, I don't know, but it certainly looks very, very likely at this stage. So if we do manage to pump up just like another $100 or $200 higher, this is going to be another confirmed support bounce off the Ichimoku cloud, which is beautiful. On a larger time frame, this is exactly what we were expecting. We knew that the 25K area was very, very strong resistance, so we certainly expected it to be strong support for the market, and we're now producing a really nice big bounce off this level as well, which is absolutely beautiful. And again, like I said, shorter time frames, we're starting to develop some better signs here. Look at this, the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud now flipping bullish. We've completely broken the resistance cloud right here. So if the market does start moving down, we're also going to have a lot of support. And if we come back to the Coinbase chart to discuss what that might look like for a second, the really good news now is if we've got like a good amount of distance from this area here, we can kind of mess around, do something like this for a little bit. It doesn't really matter, and then come back down after a few days, after a few weeks, whatever the case may be. And this area definitely could end up acting as really good support for Bitcoin. It's certainly not something which I would ignore, because now that we've had such a big pullback, we also have to start asking the question, well, is this just going to be a straight moonshot to the upside? Or like usual, are we going to see, a bit of a, something like this? It's going to, we're going to have some setbacks on the way up. That's obviously what we want to see. We want to see those setbacks, because that's what gives the market a very healthy kind of shape. It's what gives the market a very healthy approach and allows us to really take advantage of the volatility. And again, guys, with the opportunities that you've got with the links in the description down below, I have to highlight this to you. BingX is an extremely flexible exchange for privacy-minded traders here, over $1,000 in bonuses. But forget that. It's the fact that you can trade these other markets, right? When crypto is boring, you've got these stock markets you can trade on leverage as well, which is absolutely insane. And of course, like I said, Bybit, always going to be my favorite exchange, at least for now, for the crypto space. Up to $30,000 in trading bonuses. When you deposit and start trading using my link in the description, you can make a new account to do this as well. You will get these huge bonuses right here. OKX up to 60K. All of these links are in the description down below. And just below that, you can also get inside of the 4Flies VIP group, where you're seeing how I'm ripping these trades why I'm ripping these trades, the decision-making processes that go behind it, so that you can actually get a really nice scoop on what I'm doing and why, understanding the theory and the practical of everything that's going on. Absolutely phenomenal stuff there. Well worth checking out. Here's another very interesting chart that I want to share with you as well. Just showing you how we've had this very macro area of resistance all broken here. This is, again, the same kind of 27.4 level. What's really interesting is when we look at these same levels zoomed out, we can see that we're not getting a small move here. We're not doing something small. We're not doing something insignificant. This is an area that acted as strong support for the market for a very long time, and then strong resistance as well for a very long time. This is the first time we've actually gotten above this green box right here since the fake out that we had in May. That was a fair while ago. This is basically a month ago, and it was only a fake out. The last time that realistically we were actually above this level was about 45 or so days ago now. It was about 6 weeks ago. This is a really long time, guys. This is a very long time here to tell us that this market is now back above some of our really important resistance levels. And one of the things I was warning you guys about is that if we are able to cross these important resistance levels, one of the things that we could be seeing, here's another example for a target that I gave you guys earlier on. Just beautiful. Look at how we broke out of this. I mean, this is just all the right formations that we want to be seeing on this chart, to be honest, guys. Absolutely beautiful. One of the big things that I was talking to you guys about previously on this chart was that, to me, the biggest, strongest, most concerning area of resistance was going to be, basically this same green box that was outlined here. And once we get above it, it's the case of asking, well, if we've broken such a significant set of resistance levels that basically, stem between these two yellow lines, basically something a little bit like this. If we've broken these resistance areas now, then yeah, sure, there are more resistance levels up ahead. Look, I mean, it's pretty easy to draw these resistance levels. They're, in pretty obvious places. But if we've broken the strong area of resistance, and especially if the next areas of resistance just aren't that important, they just aren't that strong, they just don't cause such catastrophic pullbacks, right? If that's the case, if it's clear that, we're just not respecting these levels that are up above as much as we respected, for example, this area, this block of resistance, well, that tells me, look, we've broken a strong area of resistance here. These are not strong areas of resistance in my perspective. It should not be a problem for the market to continue to rally up. The hard work appears to be done from what I'm seeing on this chart right now, ladies and gents. Something else I want to show you really interesting, definitely worth taking into account, is the Bitcoin dominance, but not just what I've been talking to you about with the Bitcoin dominance recently, which has been shooting up 51%. Altcoins are generally, even though they're up against the dollar, getting decimated if we compare them to the Bitcoin valuations. Here's a little Cardano against Bitcoin chart. Dying, bro. Just absolutely falling off a cliff. I don't like looking at these charts. This is bad. This is really bad price action. And this is just Cardano. I mean, there's so many more examples. You pick any altcoin you like, and what's extremely clear is that money is flowing out of these altcoins. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part about this is that Bitcoin's dominance is shooting up. I mean, 51%. Just mind you, we haven't been up this high. Just to refresh your memory, if you haven't watched any of my recent videos about this, we haven't actually been this high for Bitcoin's dominance all the way back since like 2 years ago in April of 2021. So that is like, I don't know, a very long time ago since we've actually been at this kind of level for Bitcoin's dominance. And the craziest part about this, and the part that makes this a really strong picture for Bitcoin, is that stable coins, USDT, USDC, all the other stable coins you can imagine, are seeing a lot of inflows. People are buying stable coins, yet Bitcoin's dominance still keeps on going up. Now, let me break this down for you if you didn't quite understand what that means. Bitcoin's dominance just compares Bitcoin to every other crypto that exists. And it's asking the question, how much of the money in crypto is in Bitcoin versus how much is in everything else? And everything else includes USDT, USDC. Hopefully this is starting to make sense to you. Even though people are putting their money in stable coins, Bitcoin's dominance is still shooting up. If stable coins did not exist, if we were looking at Bitcoin's dominance minus stable coins, if we remove stable coins from this calculation, how much higher would Bitcoin's dominance be? This is a really important question, showing us that Bitcoin is the only asset that people are interested in right now. Also Ethereum. If we very quickly look at Ethereum, we are also looking at a nice ascension for Ethereum's dominance as well. It's nothing crazy compared to what Bitcoin has been seeing, but we are still moving up as well. And this is really, really important, guys, because if we're looking at a situation like this for our major coins, that tells us a few different conclusions. But one of the biggest conclusions we can draw, if Bitcoin's dominance keeps shooting up, if people keep on fading altcoins, ignoring altcoins, even though people are moving into stable coins, I can't stress how much of a big deal this is. It shows us that investor confidence in Bitcoin right now is extremely high. It's just broken out. You can see this very clearly with our resistance levels. We have just broken out of this resistance for Bitcoin's dominance. That shows us that people are very confident in Bitcoin right now. And when that kind of thing happens, it usually sticks around for a while. When that kind of thing happens against the backdrop of traditional finance markets, it usually sticks around for a while. When that kind of thing happens, when Bitcoin is trending up, I'm getting fired up right now, ladies and gents. When that kind of thing happens, when Bitcoin is trending up, coming off a major low, finding really nice pullbacks, trending, finding really nice pullbacks, and now we're forming even more of these bullish signs while everybody still cannot believe that the market is actually trending up. Go back and look at any of my YouTube comment sections. Look at any of the YouTube comment sections of YouTubers that are talking about the markets. People cannot digest the idea that Bitcoin can move up. Maybe now they can. I think, like I said, now is when the FOMO is going to set in, right? The thing is you want to catch the FOMO at the bottom. You want to catch it at the bottom here. You want to catch it at the bottom here where I went long on Bitcoin, actually around about over here. You don't want to be getting the FOMO when the big candles have already happened. You want to feel that fear of missing out before anyone else is feeling it so that you're the first one in the markets, guys. What we don't understand, what most people don't understand is that we're not here to stand in a fucking circle, hold people's hands and just stand in agreement with each other, jerking each other off to the same fucking bullshit TA. That's not how you make money. The way you make money is you have the right ideas executed at the right time, okay? And if you're late to the party and if you're only turning bullish over here instead of at our major obvious support levels, all resistance flipping into support, if you're looking at it from that perspective, yeah, you're the guy that's going to make money. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of, okay, well, let me wait for like 1 million more confirmations and then maybe I'll start to finally flip my bearish bias, because I'm super bearish at the bottom and always super bullish at the top, you're just never going to be the guy that ends up making money. You really need to pay attention to what everyone is doing around you and then actively consider if it's worth doing the exact opposite, because in these markets, that is the kind of thing that pays off really, really well. We have a phenomenal setup right now, and every day we are moving closer and closer to a healthier uptrend that keeps setting brand new highs, right? The fact that we spent 2 whole months coming down to capture support here has clearly put Bitcoin in a phenomenal place. Even if this uptrend ends right now, this would have been a phenomenal rally that we can look back to. I mean, just off its low to where we are right now, within 4 days, 5 days, I'm sorry, more like 6 days, more like a week, we are up by about 5-6%. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? We're up by about 12% right here. So definitely a nice big move on this chart right now. And again, it's all about understanding that now that we've broken these areas of resistance, now that the daily EMA ribbon is behind us, look at this. This is crazy. Daily EMA ribbon no longer offering resistance. 4-hour Ichimoku cloud no longer offering resistance. This horizontal level with the green box no longer offering resistance. This parallel channel offering resistance no longer offering resistance. When all of this stuff is happening and we're getting the big price explosion to match it, that is an extremely strong indication that the market may continue to rally up quite high. And again, when we consider that we've now broken the strong area of resistance and we just don't have that many problems lying ahead for Bitcoin, to me, it looks overwhelmingly likely that we are going to be breaking these highs and at least getting back up to these highs. And that is what I want to focus your attention onto now for the next little bit of this YouTube video, because if we are looking at a situation like that, then yeah, to me, we're going back up to $31,000, and this is going to be a potential double top. People that are bearish are going to be interested in seeing Bitcoin top out over here for a potential double top and then come tumbling back down. If that does end up happening, I'm still going to be looking for support, right? We know that there's a few more resistance levels up ahead for Bitcoin. If we get above these levels and we match the previous high up here, well, I think that we could definitely come down to areas of support like this and then continue the trend on higher. So that's one of the things I'd be looking for right now. The first thing I want to see is getting above these resistance levels. How do we stabilize above these resistance levels? Do we kind of, pull back deeper into the range? Again, we've got really, really good support below us now. If we look at this on the 4-hour EMA ribbon, for example, we've got really nice support, basically, catching up to us right now. It will take a while because we've been trending up very, very aggressively, but we do have really good support, and it is very aggressively catching up to us. On the hourly time frame, we've already made phenomenal use of the EMA ribbon ever since this point right here, with a near 100% success rate, where every time the price falls into the EMA ribbon on the 1-hour time frame, we have been bouncing up. If you don't know how to use this indicator or how to get it, you can type this into the YouTube search bar, and you can actually watch my free tutorial on how to get, use, and basically maximize your performance with this indicator. And it is part of the wider Four Flies Academy courses that you guys are going to get for free most of the time when you join Four Flies VIP. So definitely do check that out. Again, following these links in the description down below if you're interested. Just following these steps on screen will put you in a direct chat with me. You can ask me anything you like. And yearly members who do join the group are going to get free phone calls with me basically whenever, unlimited. We don't have any upper limits on it as well. Nobody has ever abused it. That's why we don't have any upper limits on it. So you can just jump on the phone call on the phone with me, and we can hash it out and see what's up, which has been a really, really useful addition to the package right there. So pullbacks are welcome right now. Our EMAs are really far away, even on the hourly time frame. There isn't really any momentum-based support nearby because Bitcoin has shot up so much. So it would definitely be nice to see some sort of pullback. We're also in one right now as I speak. And for me, 26.7 is going to be that floor. As long as we don't fall below 26.7, I'm super, super happy. Could we wick below it and do something a little bit like this and then come back up? Absolutely, right? I mean, falling down something a little bit like this and then straight back up, very possible. Definitely would fit in with Bitcoin's characteristics. But in terms of a more macro, like daily close, weekly close situation, I don't want to see us losing the 26.7k level again. That would definitely be a sign that we are losing progress. But right now, we are making all of this progress. And like I said, that's why I don't think this resistance level is going to be particularly problematic. And then the next thing to consider is that if we do actually end up getting above this resistance level, where could Bitcoin go? And again, if we just kind of look at the key legs that we've had in the market, I've already drawn this for you right here. If we look at the kind of distance that Bitcoin has been able to cover with each of its uptrend legs here, this is where it gets really, really exciting. So if we just kind of drag this line over to right here, this is how I was actually able to get a potential speculative target for Bitcoin. I've just drawn it from this low up to this high, and then I'm extrapolating this from the beginning of our rally from the very bottom. This does potentially give us a target of $36,000 if we sweep the high right here. And that is just starting to knock on the door of 40k, of 41k. And we know that these are really, really important levels in the market. If we look back at this kind of price range in the market, this is where we've had some very, very important reversals levels. So it actually makes sense that the market can somehow manage to get itself up here if we do end up sweeping this high. We've had the pullback for it. The traditional finance environment is ripe for it as well. Bitcoin just has the setup to pull this off, whether you like it or not. I know that a lot of people are going to really struggle to digest that. A lot of people have probably panic sold their Bitcoins on these drops here, down in this low right here. And you guys are obviously going to be upset because you've been sidelined. You haven't been in Bitcoin this whole time. You're waiting for $23,000 to buy Bitcoin. How's that going for you? The opportunity cost is huge, ladies and gents. And that is why I've been bringing this analysis to you regularly in the market. But the good news for you is that if you have screwed this up, we're still not that high compared to where we might end up going. And we don't even need to worry about missing the train because there are so many more trains coming all of the time. And that is why this market is so exciting. And that is why I have been so interested in ripping trades in this market. And it's not just for Bitcoin, right? These altcoins are still going to get their chance to shine. The good thing about the altcoin market, and I'll cover this on the daily channel, which is linked at the very top of the description. The good thing about the altcoin market is that these coins have dropped down by so much now that they're actually really good buys. And when Bitcoin has its shine, what was I saying about traditional finance? I was telling you guys that if traditional finance rallies really hard, then that's going to give people a lot of confidence. That's going to make people feel greedy. And when they're greedy, they want to take on more risks. So they start trading riskier things. So you go from Tesla, you go from S&P 500 to Tesla to Bitcoin. What happens when you've made money on Bitcoin? Now you start looking at Ethereum. When you've made money on Ethereum, you start looking at the rest of the altcoins. When you made money on them, you start looking at the shitcoins. You start looking at the NFTs and all the other scam projects that are in the space. That's because you're feeling greedy. You're feeling risky. You want to take some risk. You want to get you want to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty and roll in the mud a little bit. And that is what ends up happening when you make money with Bitcoin. So there's another wave of opportunities coming to us in the altcoin market as well. Which is just absolutely crazy. This is all happening right now. We've already started it. We're in it right now, and we've done the hard work. We've done the worst part. It's past us now. We are ahead of it now, which is absolutely beautiful. Now, can we have some crazy, fat-fingered sell-off that just completely screws this up? Absolutely. We can have weird fringe events taking place like that all the time. It's normal. It's going to happen. It's already happened many times before, but you can't really factor that into your analysis, and just because something like that might happen, I'm not going to just stop analyzing the markets and focusing on high probability setups, because that's the game. You focus on these high probability setups, you make sure that your capital is safe, you're not trading with too much money in any particular direction, so that if you are wrong, even though you did everything perfectly, if you're still wrong, you just don't lose that much money. That can put you in a really very powerful position, a very, very exciting and important place. I do want to show you this interesting pullback here from 2020 when Bitcoin managed to top out here at about $12,000. It took Bitcoin about 38 days, about 40 days to get from this high to breaking that high. And right now we are very much on par for a similar time frame here. We've actually had very, very similar chart patterns developing compared to 2020, and where we are right now, very, very clearly showing us that history is rhyming and it's continuing to follow suit in that very same direction. We're looking at a similar time frame, slightly longer, for Bitcoin to break out of a very similar market structure. Bitcoin from here rallied off a major low. Bitcoin from here rallied off a major low. And we are forming very, very similar characteristics. You've got the same Ichimoku cloud. You've got the same resistance and support levels. It is a very, very similar setup that we're seeing to 2020. And obviously from here, Bitcoin rallied up to $20,000. Bitcoin rallied up to $42,000 basically in one leg. And that's exactly the kind of setup that we're looking at right now. Does that mean that, Bitcoin is going to be, rallying up to 50K tomorrow? Not necessarily, but what it does mean to me is that history is rhyming, and all of these bullish factors that have weighed in on the market have existed since we were at these highs, basically since we were at 17K, when I was telling you guys that I'm seeing a $30,000-$40,000 Bitcoin here on this chart. These factors still apply in the market. The only difference is we're now developing that picture, and all of these kind of rough sketches that we had are now being colored in. They're now being brought to life because the market is responding so well to the stimuli that we're dealing with. Now let's take a quick look at the 4Flies dashboard as well. If we go ahead and refresh this, we do have an outdated reading on the fear and greed index. This will update relatively soon. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this to see. Yeah, we got like 5 hours left, so it is going to take some time. But it's still, I am going to be expecting a little bit of a move up here. Our previous reading was 49, so it is probably going to be a little bit of a higher reading on the fear and greed index, potentially indicating that there's going to be a little bit more greed in this market. But that's fine with me. That's not necessarily a big problem as far as I'm concerned, and that is going to be purely because we're already breaking these highs, so granted, I wish that the fear and greed index could be a little bit lower, but I'm not, it's just not that significant of, we compare it to the kind of breakouts we've been seeing. We compare it to the overall kind of market sentiment that we're seeing right now. I'm not going to lose sleep over the fear and greed index being a little bit too high. Long and short ratio really evened out very, very nicely, before this move even happened. So we had a lot of headroom, and that was one of the things that I was telling you could potentially enable Bitcoin to continue to rally up. So it is really nice to see that all of that stuff is actually working here. So a very, very exciting time to be in the market, guys. Like I said, this is where you want to be prepared for this stuff before the moves actually happen, right? You don't want to be scrambling around when the moves are happening like right now. If you're too late, then fair enough, but you have now to deal with so that you can kind of just set yourself up. And again, having free money to trade these markets up to 30K on Bybit, up to 7K on Prime XBT, just huge bonuses here that can really just set you ahead. Basically it rolls the clock forward. Essentially it cuts down time and effort that you have to put in because they're giving you more free money to trade with. You imagine you got this 30K to trade with. Any profits that you generate on that are yours to keep. It's just a nice head start. It gives you a little extra boost. It's like a little power up basically, in this game of trading, which is very, very cool indeed. And again, I can't stress enough how amazing the opportunities to trade these traditional finance markets are on BingX as well. Just with a Bitcoin deposit, without KYC, without any of that stuff, it is a very compelling offer. There's just not really that many options available that allow you to trade the same stuff in this market here. So with that kind of flexibility, with this kind of privacy-minded, kind of approach to the exchange game, because there's just not that many options like this anymore, BingX does really, really stand out. Something else that stands out along the same line of thought is PalmSwap, and I do want to bring this up to you as one of the investments that I've actually already made. PalmSwap is a decentralized exchange. It is a leverage exchange. and they are actually going to be launching very, very soon. So if this is something that you want to take a look at, version 2 is going to launch relatively soon. They also have their own token. I've invested in it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you should. Obviously, you certainly shouldn't follow what I'm doing, but I do want to highlight it to you because I've been working with these guys. I think that decentralized exchanges have a place in the future. They are definitely not as easy to use as the exchanges that I've linked in the description down below, but they are way more secure. They are way more safe. They allow you to have way more privacy. And in my opinion, they're just better. These are just better options than centralized exchanges. The problem is that, yeah, they're just a little bit more difficult to use. But, if that kind of thing does still apply to you, if you're interested in it, if you like the idea and you want to kind of get in on their token and kind of ride this wave up, if it's going up like me, I do expect it to do well. It's actually seeing a nice little pump right now. If we actually take a quick look at their chart, they're not doing too bad at the moment. Take a look at this, a nice little, oh, this is the wrong chart. One sec. Let me pull up the correct chart. Yeah, this is it right here. A nice little, kind of move. I mean, it was trending down for quite some time, but it's just kind of spiking up right now. This is happening, I think, in response to their centralized component launching in the next 2 weeks, I think. So, things are heating up. I think the token price has a little bit more upside before potentially coming back down. Usually we see prices skyrocket in the lead up to the news. In this case, I think it's July 4 or July 5 that it launches. So we see a little bit of a pump before the launch actually happens, and then these coins start to trend lower again. So really interesting opportunities here. If that's not for you, then like I said, these are this is just an easy 1 minute 30-second sign up process on each of these, which is very, very cool indeed. So there you go, guys. Absolutely beautiful setup here. I'm loving what I'm seeing. You have a very clear idea of where I think Bitcoin might go and how I would respond to each particular scenario now, depending on what Bitcoin does. One of the best things that I think Bitcoin can do now is basically just trade sideways inside of this green box, but I'm not going to keep on, hoping that kind of stuff is going to happen because, I just don't want to keep on making very specific predictions like that. It really just could go either way, and that doesn't matter. What we're looking for are the key levels being broken, whether that's our support levels or our resistance levels, and anything that happens in between is just noise. Anything that happens in between is just there to scare you. It's there to shake you out. It's there to, for you to transfer your money from your pockets to the pockets of someone who's richer and more patient than you. It's just the reality of the market. But there you go, guys. If you have appreciated this video, if you appreciate all the uploads we're doing, I just did another video 12 hours ago as well, telling you guys that I'm expecting this breakout. If you've been finding all this content useful, do me a favor, guys, engage with these videos, hit up the like, subscribe, tick the bell. It's very time sensitive content. You want to get it right when it's published. That all helps the channel out very, very much. And of course, it makes sure that you can see this content right when it's published, which is what you want to do, considering that this is quite rapid fire TA. So there you go. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Again, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that beautiful stuff, and I'll see you all in the very next one. Cheers.